Alright, I'm here to do a response to Chase's video and I guess sort of to Osborne McCarty's topic of who can beat the current UFC champions that currently hold, which are, of course, Nogueira / Brock Lesnar, Forrest Griffin, Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, and BJ Penn. Starting at heavyweight, we have Nogueira and Lesnar. Lesnar has a lot of holes in his game, and there's a lot of people I would pick over him, one of which is Nogueira, also Frank Mir, possibly Gabriel Gonzaga or Shane Carwin, but I would say if I had to pick one guy who's going to beat him, it's Nogueira. You have a guy who has never been finished, who has lethal submissions from bottom, and is a pretty good striker. Well, not really so much a pretty good striker, but a pretty good boxer. He doesn't utilize a lot of kicks, which I always thought is maybe something that kind of limits him. But I would see Nogueira probably submitting Brock Lesnar, just because Brock at some point will get overly aggressive and get attacked. As for Nogueira, I do believe he's the second best heavyweight in the world, and that Fedor and Barnett are maybe the only two people I think I would pick over him. But in the UFC right now, if I had to pick a guy who could possibly take him out, maybe Randy Couture. If Randy could keep it standing and outstrike him, and when it hit the ground, just not get submitted, it's possible I could see it. Additionally, maybe someone like Cain Velasquez in the future, or Shane Carwin. Shane Carwin could probably just overpower him. Cain Velasquez, stud wrestler. If his striking could get to the point where it's better than Nog's, I think he could also win that fight. So those would be my three kind of main picks. Next on the list, Forrest Griffin. Forrest Griffin is next to Lesnar, maybe the most flawed champion in terms of he's not really that much of a top fighter. There's a couple of guys I would pick over him. I think Rampage at a rematch with a proper game plan, proper mindset, and not having a broken foot would probably have the ability to win that. He has the ability to take Griffin down. I think he can control him to a certain extent. I think he could possibly outstrike him, minus the leg kicks. Additionally, Lyoto Machida would be a very tough matchup for him. I think Machida is just so elusive, and it's hard to game plan for him, and I don't think Forrest is the type of guy that'll beat Machida. Of course, Machida will not get a title shot for a long ass time. Rashad Evans, coming up, of course, could do it. I mean, there's a lot of scenarios I see him being able to do it. I could see him taking him down and controlling him, or finishing the TKO strikes, or knocking him out. I mean, we didn't see him knocking out Chuck Liddell, and he did. That being said, I don't think he's really one of the guys I would list as a beater of Forrest Griffin. Mainly, I think I've pretty much covered the two that I really think would do it, and that is Lyoto Machida and Rampage of the current UFC contingent. Anderson Silva. The way to beat Anderson Silva, because he is the best striker, pretty much undisputedly, at 185 in the UFC and probably in the world, with I guess arguments could be made for Gegard Mousasi, Melvin Manhoff, and Melvin Manhoff, and maybe Zel Galasics in the UFC. The way to beat him is if you can take him down and control him. The people that I could see doing this, Anderson's dangerous on the ground and dangerous on the feet, but the guys who I think might have the best shot are Razimir Palhares and Demian Maia, because both of them are not going to disillusion themselves that they can strike with Anderson Silva. They're going to go for the takedown. They're going to do everything they can to keep that fight on the ground. They will even pull guard if they have to. So those would be my picks. Dan Henderson, I also think, has a pretty decent chance. I think Dan Henderson has a decent chance against any middleweight in the world, really. And another guy, maybe is if Dennis Kane can rejuvenate his career in the UFC, which I would love to see, because that would be beautiful, because I think he's a guy that could give Anderson Silva trouble as well. GSP. It's hard to pick a guy who would beat GSP, because he is one of the better strikers in the division, one of the better grapplers in the division, one of the better wrestlers. I mean, it's kind of hard. Those that can outstrike him, I think he can take him down. BJ Penn always has a shot. He's a freak of nature. BJ Penn can, on any given day, I think, beat anyone at welterweight or lightweight. He has phenomenal submissions, which make him hard to control on the ground. That being said, GSP did it the first time. I think he'll win the second time. I don't think he's the biggest threat to BJ or to GSP. I think that is Thiago Alves, a guy who maybe can force GSP to stand with him. Maybe we don't know, but he probably outstrike him. And GSP physically just doesn't seem to have a lot of ability to take damage, and Alves could probably dish it out pretty nicely. On to BJ Penn. There is no one in the UFC that I see beating BJ Penn at lightweight. If I have to pick someone, it is probably Kenny Florian. Via virtue of Florian has grappling skills that are probably amongst the best in the division. He has pretty good Muay Thai. He's finally starting to pick up some good wrestling and judo. I think he could win in the clinch against BJ Penn, but at range, I think BJ would beat him, and on the ground, I think BJ would beat him. That being said, Kenny, wicked elbows. He could possibly cut him, get a stoppage. I would say he's probably the closest, because I think we've kind of seen that Sean Shirk probably isn't the guy, and that probably rules out guys like Clay Guida, Roger Huerta, Frankie Edgar, etc., because they bring a lot of the same tools to the table. So that covers all of them, and hope you enjoyed the video, and comment, subscribe, rate, whatever. Appreciate the feedback.